Hi, and welcome to Rudy Sassoon's Science Fantasy Experience, and to an episode of Let's Talk. Let's Talk is my thoughts, my opinions, my likes, my dislikes, and my experience of pop culture. So, let's talk Starfleet, X-Bomber.
Space Pilot Hagen, sir.
Space Pilot John Lee.
And I'm Barry Hercules, Doc.
So yeah, Starfleet. I really don't know if I'm going to be able to get through this Let's Talk, because this is my... Is it my number one favourite childhood TV show of all time? Do you know what? It's one of my favourite TV shows of all time. It's definitely my favourite of the puppet, marionation, macramation ones of the era. Don't get me wrong, I've got so much love for Jerry Anderson and Thunderbirds and Terrorhawks, but for me it's Starfleet. It's just, it really could be my number one all-time favourite TV show. And as I said, I might not be able to get through it because I get super involved with it and super emotional with it, and it's so good. And if I'm going to end up pausing and umming, and I might lose my way, and in some ways I've not really planned what I'm going to do with this Let's Talk, to be honest. I've grabbed a load of bits and pieces that I have in terms of Starfleet, bits and pieces, and I kind of just I'm gonna freestyle and just go through it all and tell you what I think and whatnot. And then obviously just it wouldn't be a Let's Talk without a look at a toy, would it? So yeah. So, Starfleet, for anyone that doesn't know, was a puppet show that was imported from Japan in '82 and redubbed with English actors and redone soundtrack by Paul Bliss. And the soundtrack is phenomenal. It's so good, but more on that later, because there's a whole little bit I want to talk about with that. But yeah, it explains the journey of X-Bomber, this experimental spaceship, and the three joining parts that create the Di-X. So, but yeah, let me just read like a complete overview of it from just something that I have. So, in 2099. Is it? No, 29.99. Sorry, see, I'm already getting super excited. Yes, in 29.99, just as the people of Earth begin to enjoy the peace following the end of Space War 3, the Imperial Alliance under the Imperial Master launch a new assault. Facing the evil alliance, Earth's defending forces are ill-prepared for another war and pin their hopes on Dr. Ben and his new X-Bomber program. What is the F-01 which the Imperial Alliance so eagerly pursues? What awaits the young crew of X-Bomber? This is an ambitious example of Supermariorama, combining puppets and special effects from Japan. Yeah. It is so much more than that, though. It's everything that I want from a TV show. I remember watching it as a kid, and I feel like I would forget that it's puppetry. I still do it to this day when I watch it, because I watch it every couple of weeks. I forget that they are puppets. It grosses me that much. So yeah, let's and it just. Oh, let's go back. Like, so in 1982, I'm like 4 years old, and Saturday mornings, yeah, I'd watch Saturday Superstore with Mike Reed and all that jazz. And then it would end at like 11, 12 o'clock, and basically there was like 4 channels: BBC One, BBC Two, ITV, independent television, and Channel 4. Channel 4 was I feel like Channel 4 had pretty much only just started. Maybe it was 83 that this started. Maybe, I don't know, I can't, 82, 83, let's put it that way. And basically on a Saturday there was sport on every channel. So BBC One, you had Grandstand, and that would have football, rugby, all that malarkey, and then you'd turn over to BBC Two, there would probably be Formula One, or some British touring car racing, or some sort of car racing, or motorbikes. And you would go on Channel 4, and there would be horse racing. But ITV, independent television, Central was what I watched from where I grew up in Wolverhampton. At 1 o'clock, Starfleet comes on, and it absolutely hooks you. And these episodes are like a good 25, 26 minutes long. As I said, obviously imported from Japan, where their timings are slightly different for their TV shows. You know, they're either short animes or they're big, long epics. So yeah, there is something like, I feel like maybe like 35 episodes for this whole series. So yeah, every Saturday morning, Saturday early afternoon, yeah, I'd sit down and I'd watch Starfleet, and then I would want to try and make the X-Bomber or the Die-X, the red robot, out of Lego, and fail miserably. I'm telling you, I'd never made it look anything like what it did on the screen, but in my head, in my imagination, I definitely had an X-Bomber and a Die-X to play with. Because sadly the toys did not make it over to the European shores, to the UK. I've gone through old websites and eBay looking for Starfleet toys, and there just wasn't that many. But it did have other things, so yeah, I've definitely got I've got a comic here. A bit more review. So yeah, and it's just incredible artwork. Just really stereotypical of the time. And that comic made it in to Looking. Yeah. Front cover, not once, but twice. Yeah, so this one is dated 30th of October 1982. And yeah, here we have. And then it's, you know, Saturday morning Starfleet, colour centre. So that was a double page spread. So yeah, we've got Shiro here, and we've got Commander Makara. Shiro's my all-time favourite, my favourite character of the show. Just the hot-headed youngster, you know, with his cool helmet and his weird like pyjama and leather combo. And then we've got Commander Makara. So yeah, she is, although not the captain of the ship, because I'll get onto Captain Orion in a moment, but she's pretty much the leader of the Imperial Alliance in terms of coming to Earth. And then you've got the Imperial Master, who is the big overall bad guy. So yeah, and then this talks, this side of her face talks, but it talks with a male accent. So you know, you think she's going to be like a girl baddie, but no, she's a guy baddie as well. And this whole kind of scantily clad warrior maiden with a robotic, evil-looking bug arm. It's just incredible. If I ever get to go to San Diego Comic-Con, I'm going to go full Shiro, absolutely. So yeah, let's get another look So this is Captain Orion, and he runs. He's the captain of the Imperial battlecruiser, which I'll get onto in a bit, because I've got a load of postcards with some even more cooler images on them. And then we've got Lamia, who is the mysterious F-01. Spoiler alert, which I alluded to on the synopsis earlier. So yeah, what does this one? Starfleet exclusive picture strip with this one in the 5th of February 1983. So yeah, that's a good February, January. That's a good 3-4 months that it was on TV, and that probably wasn't even half of it, because as I said, it's there's 30 odd episodes in here. So yeah, it's just, for me, it was a pop culture explosion, which has a mixed, incredible sci-fi elements. You could see that they're inspired by bits of Star Wars and huge Super Sentai robots in Japan. When it was Go Nagai's bits and pieces. So yeah, let me find my postcards, and I can go through a few more of the characters. So we've got John Lee. He is the pilot of Leg Tracks, which is the bottom part of the Diex junction. Talking of the Diex, here it is. It's a man in a suit, but that, when you're a kid, that doesn't really matter. Here we have the Imperial battlecruiser. I always thought it kind of looked like a cat. A weird kind of bug cat. Here he is, my boy. We've got Shiro. And we've got Shiro. He pilots the top part, the brain com. And then we've got Barry Hercules, and he does main body. Also plays the guitar. Yeah, and then there we go here with just a few of the baddies here. So you've got the Imperial Master in the middle, Commander Makara and Captain Orion. And there's other few kind of bad guys that pop up here and there in there. Yeah, so as I said, I wanted to talk about the music. The soundtrack is incredible, the sound effects that they use for the laser beams. That's really cool. But once again, it's the theme tune and the end credits by Paul Bliss, who did that. But I think a lot of people, there's always that popular misconception that Brian May did the music for Starfleet. But no, it was Paul Bliss. But I was watching a BBC Two documentary. I think this was maybe about 10 years ago, all about music. And they'd gone to the music of the 80s, and they were interviewing Brian May. And he sat down, and he was struggling to write songs in the early part of the 80s, and he was sitting, as you do, on the weekend with his boy. And he asked his boy, "Oh, what do you want Daddy to sing? Tell me something to sing about." And they used to love watching Starfleet together. And his little boy just said, "Oh, you should sing this, the theme tune to Starfleet." So he did. He phoned up his mate, Eddie Van Halen, and they do the Starfleet project. And he did a much longer extended cut of the theme tune, and they created a music video interspliced with bits from the episodes. So yeah, it's a very slightly different version from the Paul Bliss version, and they're both just as equal as each other. Yeah, and it's just a really just awesome rocking theme tune. Some of the 80s theme tunes are phenomenal. You got Kinder and Brian and Suki and Levy. They just knew how to make theme tunes to TV shows in the 80s. So yeah, yeah, I'm good. I'm in control. I'm not losing it too much. But obviously there was they've got a DVD release, I think maybe 2008, and it's got the whole complete set in it. I have no idea if it's still available. It's been a long time since I bought a DVD, to be honest. But other to that, like, there was never really any way of watching these episodes. But I was lucky as a kid. I had a VHS tape of some spliced together episodes which had turned into a movie called The Search for F-01. And watched to death up until, I think, 2005, 2006, when the VHS really gave up. And I think that was the only reason why I was keeping my tape player, was for one video cassette. And it just finally gave up the ghost. But it lasted since, 85, 86, when my mum and dad bought us the Matsui VHS player. So yeah, Space Quest for F-01. They released 2, actually, I believe. I don't know what the other one was called, but I always used to see them in video shops, and you could rent them for 50p. But no, I was lucky to have one of them. So yeah, and as I said, it wouldn't be a Let's Talk without having a look at a toy in regards to whatever the Let's Talk episode is. And I think you all know what's coming for people that have watched my videos before, because I bang on about this toy all the time, and it's always going to be in different shots. I always have it in different bits around the house. It is the Dynamite Action product number 12, X-Bomber Big Die X by Evolution Toy. Wow, that is an absolute mouthful, but here he is in all his glory. Yes, I picked this up a few years ago. I got through Kapow Toys, and I remember messaging Andy and I'm like, I can't believe that this is being made. I remember putting my pre-order in like February, and then it got to like the 1st of December, so I'd waited like 11 months, and then I messaged him and I was like, is it going to come before Christmas? And he was just like, no, I don't think it's coming till January. And I was just like, well, I've waited like practically a year anyway. What's one more month? And do you know what, it really doesn't disappoint. It's got incredible amounts of articulation, because it is all magnetised, so you can pull different parts and you can put it into some awesome poses. It's got the pew pew factor, pew 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 pew, and it's got some alternate modes. So as you can see, you can make it into BrainCom, main body, and leg track, the flying leg track as well. So yeah, here he is, and as I said, I've got to be a bit careful with the top because mine's super stiff, and I'm scared to ping bits off. So yeah, here you go. His head separates, but mine is so stiff I cannot get it done. I've undone it once and it frightened the absolute living hell out of me. So yeah, and then different magnets. So yeah, let's turn it into main body. And again, also like the fists, all magnetised. And then there's a few bits, accessories, just to, there we go, magnetised in. Yeah, there we have. Again, pew 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 pew. You know, all my toys need to have the laser factor. So yeah, and then to make leg track, it's a slight bits of parts forming, but as I've mentioned with bits of Transformers, I don't mind parts forming, and never have done. So yeah, you just take some bits off, fold legs down, pop the legs, the feet forward, and it comes with an extra bit for you to leg track. How awesome. How awesome is this toy? It's so good. So yeah, this has been Starfleet. I don't want to go on about it for too long. I could, trust me, absolutely. So yeah, it just literally magnetizes straight back together. It's a really wonderful toy, and I've waited all my life for that toy. Trust me, from being 4 or 5 years old to now being 40, it's just I waited all my life for an actual Starfleet toy. And here he is. I'm going to put him in his iconic pose, which I used to do literally in the playground all the time when we played it. Because obviously I was shy, right? And then my friends were Barry Hercules and John Lee. And then every once in a while somebody got to be the big Di-X. So, those have been my thoughts and my experiences of Starfleet. Always daring and courageous.
Send a message out across the sky. Alien raiders just past Gemini. Who will come and save us now? Who can defend us from that power? Starfleet, Starfleet. Starfleet, Starfleet. Tell the people back out of control. Send Starfleet legions to save our souls.